Here comes the train. I guess it's been a couple weeks since I've done a video. Whoopsies. So, give you a little show around. We finally started getting rain 2 days ago, which I watered only a little bit over that time, and pretty much only things in pots that aren't stuck in the ground, such as these didn't get any water. But it's probably a good time for me to finally transplant out this section, because I got to decide where to put my Yucca flacida that I potted up a couple years ago. I tried to do a couple transplants during the drought. Sorry about my fingers in frame. And they died. So I waited. But now it's actually raining most of the week. It says it's gonna. So I think I will get on that a little bit, hopefully. Let's take a look around. You'll see very little did any harm. Oh, look at that pretty butterfly. Oh no, I have mosquitoes. That's bad. Guess that's the downside of the water coming back. There's mosquitoes. But, yeah, so the OG elderberry over here, I don't know where any of it is, honestly. It's struggling so hard. Additionally, I'm having a lot of dieback in this red twig dogwood that I grew from seed, but they did all survive. There's a third one back in there. And my Prunus pennsylvanica is doing fine as well, which is this little twig right here. So that's good. And there's another Prunus pennsylvanica that's multi-twigged, because I'm coppicing them right in the bricks here. See the bricks? There's like a long-leafed variety right in the middle there. So this is going well. These potted items keep getting chewed on. I moved a bunch of my water tray things into the back, and I want to do one more move because it was just so much to lug the water up here, and the water tank that I keep a ton of water in isn't this one. It has some, but the water tank I keep a ton of water in is in the back. And I do want to get a slightly longer hose, but at the very least not having to lug the water quite as far to do the big watering. It's a nice adjustment. So now that it's raining again, it would seem I need to go around and put dunks, that stuff that reduces the larval conversion of mosquitoes in water. Need to put some of that back around. So as you can see, this is done fine. I still have echinacea really strong through here. I'm watching very carefully. This year, I'm going to attempt to catch all of these as soon as they split and strip the seeds so I have the silk separate with greater ease, and we'll do hopefully a video on that when I get to. But I feel like I'm hawking over them pretty close. I check them every night, but I'll probably miss some. The milkweed is doing great. It is kind of funny. There's one that's back to blooming over there. We'll go past it. So yeah, you can really see the echinacea is loving this weather. Got this random squash that came up out of the compost in there. Some of the milkweeds dried out, and some of them are just buckling under the weight of their seed pods. Some of them, a few of the seed pods have dried, the drought stopped sending the vascular support to certain seed pods. My Lobelia inflata is doing really well. Let's see if I can get those into focus there. Yeah. Those get like the the big seed pods at the end. I'm actually going to swing past the porch because I am getting a lot of mosquitoes right now. And I'm going to show you what I use as bug spray. Okay, listen. This stuff works. Which, for something that's natural, because that's what it is. It's just lemon eucalyptus compound. And Off Botanicals uses the same stuff, but is only 5%. Cutter uses it at 20%. And this bottle's getting low. I get it on automatic refill because I use it quite a lot, and I gift it sometimes too. So it's hard to, honestly, a little bit hard to keep enough. So sorry for the detour on that. I got 3 out of 4 walls onto this mushroom thing in here, and that'll be able to add some more structure to that, and I'll be able to feed it a little easier. Here's the flowers that came late. I harvested this morning, and there's 3 more now. Love that. When it rains, they come ripe a lot faster. Love that. Got more coming along, as you can see. There's this, and up here there's these. So these guard panels keeping the deer off of the Joan J. thornless variety of raspberries is really helping a lot. Definitely getting a lot more off of that. My dwarf cucumber magnolia, I hope it's dwarf, is doing pretty darn well. I don't know what's chewing on it, but it's not suffering from being chewed on. The one and only tomato that I purchased is struggling like heck, but hey, whatever, that's fine. There is one growing on it. Got that at like a hardware store, so it's not anything fancy. It's the German stripey. And then I looked back on a video from like 2018 that I did a video, and it came up in my like social media memories thingy because I shared it on a different platform. And German stripey is my favorite taste, but it turns out it's not the one that does the best here. I think the one that produced the best in that video was, and this is Pittsburgh area, was the Cherokee Red or Cherokee Purple. I don't know which color exactly, but it was, those were covered in tomatoes. And the German stripes, even that year I only got a couple, so. And that was a year that was like bumper crop tomatoes back when I was doing regular stuff. Oh yeah, that's good. These are finally starting to fruit up. They're not ripe, but those are the black, well, it's a Solanase, and people do call it belladonna, but certain varieties of American belladonna are edible fruit, and that's one of them. Let's take a close look at the leaves. There should be a purple tinge. It should be dark and bunching. You should not take them when they're gray. You should not take them when they're anything other than falling into your fingers, because the underripe fruit is toxic. But 1700s botanists looked at this and said it's similar to European belladonna. Looked at native peoples and said, you don't know what you're talking about, which is stupid, because obviously they could eat it and be alive. And, you know, Ruin a bunch of plants' reputations like that. So, those are edible under certain circumstances. I got 2 really good juicy blackberries this morning. I think I see one that's starting to be ripe just behind it there too. It's a work from home day. These still are rock hard. And there's really not that many. The drought made it drop a lot of its fruit, I think. And also I haven't been out here to trim off the new green growth as often, and that's part of what helps it keep its fruit on. Is this plant will choose its green growth over its fruit. This is the hardy kiwi. Back here, there's not that much going on. Oh yeah, over there is the Miyoga ginger. I just had an alarm pop up in the screen, so hopefully that didn't disrupt. I did come out and cut back a whole bunch of my, the pokeweed. There's one of them. So that's, oh look, this is good. At least in the deeper shade, those are still rock hard, so they're not ripe, but they haven't dropped, so that's nice. Look how good my pawpaw's doing. I did notice today that this was strangling it at its base, so I put it on the fence instead. But look how good that pawpaw's doing. There are 2 more, and they're tiny little things. One in here, one in there. So, complicated as to how they're doing. One's doing great, the other 2 are like getting by, I guess. I still haven't seen signs of this hardy ground cherry going ripe. As you can see, it's definitely putting on a lot of fruit, but I think when they go ripe it should drop those. I think. I have had to go around and pull out a ton of little black walnuts all over the place this year. And that's frustrating. Because, I mean, anyone who doesn't live in Eastern PA would probably love to have them, but they're freaking everywhere around here, and, you know, they can really change the way your garden is. Did you see that? That's a lanternfly. Nasty invasive things. But, we do have figs again. This is where I moved most of my water catch, things that need watered regularly, plants. Moved them all back here. Because a lot of this I can now reach with this tiny little, like, 5-foot piece of broken hose. And this tank is the one I use for most of the watering, because it gets all the way full. Now, while this is empty, because it's empty again, I need to pull that out completely at some point, and I need to pour water in it and see where the heck it's leaking, because that sucker has to be leaking, because it gets pretty dang full, and then a couple days later it's empty, and there's no frickin' reason. My overflow is working, but the tank isn't. And I can't even complain, because I got all 3 of these $50 each through a program with the township. So, like, if I'm putting another $10-20 into sealing something or figuring out what's wrong with it, who cares? I can't complain about that one bit. However, it is definitely, you know, a little project, and it needs doing. Let's see what else to look at. I did get a couple of, and if you're on my Instagram, you'll have seen this. I got a couple of new asparaguses. I actually got to eat fresh asparagus during a drought. Mainly right here where the water from me watering everything runs off. It sprouted some more asparagus. And that is a really big benefit of leaving your, which is what this is, leaving your asparagus the heck alone during spring. Most years I get a couple. Oh geez, this is one of those Asimina trilomas, also known as tree of heaven, also known as the lanternfly's primary food. Ugh, nasty invasive thing that smells bad. Yeah, most years I take the asparagus sparingly in spring, and then I get more of it anytime it rains later in the year, so that it's not only seasonal. It is getting to the point where I probably should try and dig up some groundnut here, see how it's doing. All of these are groundnut, but also it's so nice and green, I kind of don't want to mess with it, so there's that. Looks like we're trying to trip people down here. Stop that. Put you up out the way. It's very little needed. I do occasionally take the ones that are sticking out and tuck them back in, but mostly the weight of the leaves, as soon as the leaves go, pull it down. And Formidable Flora was right. It needed some potassium on that end, and that plant is all green at the end now that was like yellow edged last year. Still no flowers. I don't know if that's because I have a more southerly variety that needs a longer season, because I didn't get these like locally. I got them from Edible Acres, which is awesome. It's actually really hard to source groundnuts, so I was super excited to get them. And a lot of times when you buy the food type, which I'm sure this is one that was developed more for its root crop, you're getting a longer season one because it's prioritizing the size of the underground bulb. And the northerly varieties that are more native to cold regions have smaller bulbs, and they have a shorter like flowering season. So I wouldn't be too surprised if these don't end up flowering and I just have a southern variety that is trying to expect my summers go longer, but we'll see. We'll see if I ever do have. I was wrong. This is not different than ginger. This is the ginger, and I think I'll end up moving it. That's a second one of the big clump of Miyoga ginger. It just hasn't really gotten as well established over here. Let's see. Anything else to show you? Let's see. A lot of the fruits are done. Like my fruit tree section is pretty well done here, and the little hedges and stuff. Oh geez, we got another, or is this the same one? That's a lanternfly, see? Nasty creatures. They kill the trees. Yeah. Not a whole lot blooming this time of year, but the pollinators love these. So, yeah, might finally be time to do some transplanting and not have things die. Need to decide where one of my linden tree or basswood tree can go. And get a few other things moved around. And I think it's time to give up on that stump of a plum that had the black knot. Maybe I'll put the linden there. I'm going to keep it coppiced, but I think I'd rather have it in really good shade. That's a tough call. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I hope you're having a really good day. Thanks for visiting the cliffside. And, yeah, take care. Bye.